What's up, everyone? Chad again from Ready Overland, and this is probably going to be my last build video of kind of talking how I built it. And I am here essentially at the end of the Rubicon Trail, and so this episode I'm going to cover the bumpers, the skids, and the sliders and what I've got built out here. So, and most importantly, how did it hold up on the Rubicon? Because that is no joke. It's a challenge for essentially 12 miles straight of pretty significant obstacles over and over. So it was a blast. I loved it. But we'll get into the bumpers and skids and sliders. So we'll just start right here since I'm sitting here. This is a Demello off-road front bumper. I chose their DIY kit because I tend to build everything myself. I like doing that. And they have a great DIY kit. It fits together better than any other bumper I've welded up, whether it's coastal off-road, or there's a tube bumper that I welded up once, and then now this Demello off-road bumper. And so it's great. After the Rubicon, some of the things that I might do different on this bumper is essentially where I hit is these corners, both sides. So I probably will raise that lower cross member up about 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch, chop the bottom, 3-4 inches off the front bumper, or maybe taper it down in the center a little bit, and make some modifications that way just to add a little more clearance, because pretty much of anywhere that I hit on the front, it was down low, and then I ran into a rock on the side. So but no damage to the bumper, even though I was hitting things. So so that's the front bumper. I'll go into the skids next. Okay, so this is the front skid that I made essentially right before the trip, and it is I think I showed some highlights on it in my first video, but this is to clear the now Marlin Crawler front diff mounts that actually include a 1/2 inch diff drop, but gained roughly 3 inches of clearance right in the front. And so it really added some clearance. You can see a few scuff marks. I did hit a few places. That one, for example, if I had my old skid on, it may have stopped me or really damaged that original skid plate that I had, which was a aluminum RCI skid plate. So overall, it held up real good. No issues, and loved the extra clearance I got with that diff drop plus clearance of this new skid plate. So really worked well. I'll go on to the middle skids next. Okay, so this is where I hit a ton and where I want to make some modifications. So the skids that I have are RCI Offroad. It's the transmission and transfer case and gas tank skids. So you can see here, this has got quite the crown to it, and it took a lot of abuse. I was high centered a bunch. I hit right there where the bolts go in. I hit that spot a ton, and then I hit the gas tank skid a ton, which there's not a whole lot you can really do about that. It did bend it up in a crease in one spot. I'll show you a little better picture of that. So really what I want to do here is this whole mess right here of how the different plates are combining. I kind of want to make a whole new version of this bracket, maybe tied into these bolts here, raise it up and raise this up. Additionally, I want to do something with my exhaust. Whether I do like a flat pipe, ovalized pipe, or something, I'd love to gain an extra couple inches of clearance there. So that way it would just transition me from this. Ideally, I'm like flush with the bottom of this. That would gain a ton of clearance right there. And and just transition just straight over to this transfer case skid. So that's probably the next major project I'm going to be working on from a skid plate standpoint. And then this, I'm not going to go aluminum again. Aluminum's great, but for lightweight. But after doing the Rubicon, I don't mind the weight down low because it adds the extra stability for the trails that I'm hitting. And then I need to strengthen this, so bigger ribs. There's a ton of clearance between this skid and the oil pan of the transmission, and so there's no reason why there can't be some more significant ribbing through there. So see what I come up with to solve that problem. Lastly, the fuel tank is bent up in the middle there, or in the front edge there. I did hit that a lot. I would love to figure out a way to raise the gas tank, because it is really one of the, the lower points of the vehicle, and it's just, just past the middle is the front section there. So I hit that quite a bit. So that's the skid plates and how that fit. And let's go sliders. Okay, so sliders. The sliders that I have are Metal Tech 4x4. They're out of like the Portland, Oregon area, and they are bolt-on sliders. And honestly, they held up amazingly well. I was shocked for being bolt-on sliders that I didn't have any issues with them. You can see I use them a lot, but they did what they were intended to do, and I have no dents in the body. So there's definitely spots where it's real tight. You're not, it's hitting both sliders at times, going through some of the tight spots. Lastly, I added this right before the trip, is the I'm Keith rear link, rear lower control arm mount skids, guides, whatever you want to call them. I did hit them once, and so or twice, probably more than that. So I'm pretty happy that I put those on before the trip. That's the sliders. Okay, we're on the back end now, so let's go over the rear bumper and auxiliary fuel tank skid. So I have this started out as a coastal off-road kit. I did not get their tire carrier system, and I've got friends that have broken multiple times broken the standard tire carrier kit that comes with the coastal off-road rear bumper, and I always like designing my own rear swing out anyway, and I've got a nice beefy joint here from TMR. It's massive, like 2-inch bearings for like 1-ton axles or something like that. And so I just spliced it in a little doubler plate here on the end to hold it, and this thing swings out perfect and nice and level every time. No issues there. I added these nubs, so when I'm putting my 100-pound spare tire up on the back, I can set it on those nubs and then tighten the lug nuts down as I need. So importantly, the latch that I design is essentially I capture it with this huge GMW block, and I capture it on both sides. And then, really important, I see so many swing outs that are like not latched in the proper orientation of where you need to hold it closed. And so I've got this latched closed forward direction, then it's captured top and bottom. So this end can't move. And where a lot of them I see, they come closed and then they tie it down and they try and pull it down, which is, not the direction that you need to secure it. So you need to, in my opinion, you need to secure it in the direction that you're trying to keep it closed. So that's a trick that I do on that swing out. And then you'll see This is the Coastal Off-Road for the GXs. Use the factory rear bumper cutout and fill that area in. I made my own version of that plastic, but welded it to the bumper. And I like the look. I like just the steel all around. And it's a great bumper in general. So now what would I do different? So I do really like this bumper, but I hit constantly on these corners. And I would really like to go to the high clearance rear bumper. So I will probably do a cross member delete and incorporate a custom bumper, maybe tube that's super high clearance, but yet still strong to do what I need it to do. The gas tank, rear fuel tank skid. So I have the Hellview auxiliary fuel tank, and I was not comfortable at all without a skid plate on it. And so I made this aluminum 188 skid plate that worked, and it worked. I got a good chunk on a good dent right there in the middle, and I definitely hit the corners, but it held up. The fuel tank's just fine inside there, and so I feel pretty good about that. So that's the main thing with the rear swing out and bumper, and that's probably it for this video. I love the Rubicon. It was a great trip, and we finished it in 2 days. And it was so the first day we pretty much went straight to Buck Island Lake, and it was a full day, 8 hours to get us to Buck Island Lake, and to go almost 6 miles. So it's pretty crazy to take 8 hours to go almost 6 miles, but I think we made pretty good time. And then the next day we were out probably 6.5, 7 hours to finish out from there. So, and then we get to camp at an amazing spot, the lake, beautiful view off to the surroundings here. So that's it for this video, and please like and subscribe, and we'll go from there. I'll probably be a little bit before my next videos, but you'll probably see me making progress on a Ford 9-inch rear axle that I'm going to custom build, and maybe some work on these skid plates. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.